Good evening, everyone. We are so excited to be with day two of Ignite Your Soul Connection. I last night, I don't know if you had a chance to join us, but we had a fabulous conversation. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you can find the replay on the Facebook page Ignite Your Soul Connection, or you can go to our YouTube channel with that same name, Ignite Your Soul Connection, and you can follow us there. But what I want you to know is that this week is filled with a ton of information because we are in the conversation of let's save our family. And we're saying family because all of us are in this together. And this is our 12th year of sharing this platform with you. I think it's the 11th year. That's why I'm hesitating. Of sharing this conference with you. And it's free of charge. Our coaches are all donating their time, their energy, their attention, and they're giving this to you all in love and joy. So we thank you for listening. And if you like, you can share this on your page so that your friends and family can follow along. If you have any questions as we go through this conversation, you can please post them in the comments on the Ignite Your Soul Connection page. And our producer, Keisha Nicole, will make sure that she gets a message to me to ask your question. Okay? So now, what I'd like you to do, oh, one other thing. Happy summer solstice. All right? So if you don't know what the summer solstice is, then you will definitely have to go and look that up. Keisha, it's on the Ignite Your Soul Connection page. So you have to go to the Ignite Your Soul Connection page. And after I finish my introduction, I will share it once I have my guest speaking. Okay. All right. So now, what I would like to do is bring in, and I don't even know which one to bring in first because they were buddies in class. Yay! So I'm gonna bring in Mother Mecca because I spend the most time with Mother Mecca. So Mother Mecca, come on, and I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell people about yourself and just give them a little bit of information about who you are so they can know why I love you so much.
Well, first of all, I'm a Capricorn. And I'm Mother Mecca. That is my spiritual business. I'm a life coach, spiritual advisor, card reader, Reiki master, death doula, and that's been super exciting. And of course, I'm a mommy and a granny. And so I'm just right now, I'm just open and flowing and just doing everything that the universe has me to do. And yes, Tanner was my buddy when I became a Master Force life coach. And I love the experience and love everything that we're still doing together. And if you want to hear about the summer solstice, you can go to an app, World Vibe Radio app, and listen to Moon and I talk about that on Mondays. Okay.
No, actually, it's gonna run tomorrow, Tuesday,
It comes out
tomorrow at noon.
tomorrow at noon.
Hmm. And tell us about your T-shirt, please.
Oh, well, this is our June. It's a Juneteenth shirt. So today, that's a federal holiday now. So that's really great. If you don't know what Juneteenth is, that's when the slaves were actually knew about it in Texas in 1865. So it came from my daughter, and I was really surprised that she made me one with like an eye. She knows her mom's third eye is open. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now I want you to listen to introduce my brother Tanner Times. He has Shantez up there tonight, but I love him and his family. They're such a wonderful family. Tanner, tell us about yourself and tell people why I love you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Legal name is Shantez Tanner. I go by the name of Tanner Times. My coaching business is called Creative Soul Work. I consider myself to be a lifestyle strategist and empowerment coach with a focus in health and fitness, finance, image and branding, spirituality, and relationships. Moo and I took a huge connection back when I took her class because I think we both kind of experienced, I guess I would say, a lot of childhood trauma that we kind of had to work through and grow to and grow through, excuse me. And it's kind of transformed us into these special beings. And, you know, I think both of us have taken the stance as well as the proclamation to live the rest of our life to try to pour into others, especially as it relates to children, and making sure that children are well-rounded and that they grow and have the resources and support that they need to grow and blossom into mature adults. I'm happy to be here tonight, happy to share my expertise, and I'm looking forward to today's conversation.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I love both of you being here and the fact that you took the class together. I remember you all had such a special relationship. You were very supportive and very nurturing with each other. You held it down. If the other one wasn't going to be there, you made sure that they got their information. So it really is nice to be in this space. You know, it's kind of like a little different, right? So thank you for being here. So tonight's conversation is a little bit controversial because what we're saying is our nutrition has been weaponized, right? So what are we talking about? Our nutrition has been weaponized. So when I say that, what comes to mind? What comes to mind, Mother Mecca, when I say nutrition is weaponized?
Well, I look at that in two different ways because I feel like the federal government is they're using food as a weapon against us. And so I look at it that way. That's all the foods that we know and the FDA know that we shouldn't be eating, such as meat, such as dairy. So I look at that as a weapon against us. Now, how we can use nutrition as our weapon is by adding more fruits and vegetables.
We ain't got there yet. That's
okay.
So you don't need to provide the solution just yet, okay?
So my little vegan self has always loved fruits and vegetables. You know, I always love my side dishes. I've never been a big meat person. So that's it.
That's what food, okay. And Tanner, what about you? When I say food has been weaponized, what's there for you?
So I would say it became evident to me that our nutrition is weaponized when, you know, when you take a look around a lot of the communities, especially inner city communities, where you have concentrations of Black and brown individuals, you find that most of those areas are food deserts. In addition to them being food deserts, they also lack grocery stores, local food markets, as well as healthy food options. And a majority of those fast food selections consists of restaurants which serve foods and that are high in calories, carbs, sodium, and saturated fats, which further leads to, you know, health issues and health complications, and which a lot of that is set up to feed the pharmaceutical industry, which pushes all these drugs on you to try to combat a lot of those issues. So it's kind of like a ripple effect that's been placed on us, and you know, it takes, you know, stepping outside the box and really evaluating the situation and taking a stance to want to live a healthier lifestyle and want to, you know, be more healthy and more balanced. But as far as weaponization, that's what it means to me.
Yeah, and I hope our listeners can hear that both of you gave a real nice sketch. You know, the federal government, that means that there is someone controlling food or nutrition that comes to our particular community, okay? And that it is unhealthy or it's unavailable. And when that's unhealthy or unavailable, it breaks down our system, which means that what? We have to go to the doctors more often. And then when we go to the doctor, who are we taking care of? The pharmaceutical company, right? So we caught up in this vicious cycle, and we're trying to figure out what in the world is going on. But because we're so busy with our jobs and taking care of everything, we're still just eating and making poor nutrition choices. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then now what have you done? What have you done to alter the diet for your family and yourself? Did you actually choose to do that, or did your parents do that? How did you get on a more of a healthier regimen?
I'll start out. Well, I can just remember when I was growing up, I didn't like a lot of meat. So I would sneak and give it to my brother, and things like that. And I remember even when I would eat it, it would make me nauseous, like beef. Like if it was like sloppy Joe or something like that, it would really make me nauseous. So I really never wanted to eat meat. However, I just became vegan maybe about 5 years ago, and it was just like a choice that I made. So I'm the only vegan in my family, and my daughter is pescatarian. But I do have friends that I talk to about eating better and having better choices. They added like maca root to their diet, added aloe vera shot in the morning, added cat's claw and different things like that to his diet. He's my business partner, and so
Mhm.
I'm telling him, you need to eat more healthier. We'll do more work. You'll get more work done.
Get more work done. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And what about you, Tanner?
So for me, my wife and I have kind of always been, into, being healthy and making sure we stay fit. So within the household, we mainly buy and consume mostly fruits and vegetables, and we limit our meat intake significantly. Um, and we don't eat any pork, and we're working on actually taking out meat in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, we're also very active, us and our kids. We all work out or do some type of physical fitness or exercise at least 5 times a week, while incorporating, weightlifting, cardio, as well as core training. So health and fitness is something that's pushed and promoted in this household. And, we've taken a stance as far as our lives to live. We don't want to be sick. And a lot of that was kind of shifted based on the fact that my wife and I both have a lot of family members who died from, cancer, more importantly, breast cancer, colon cancer, and, just taking a look at that and seeing how some of that stuff is embedded in the bloodline has kind of sparked us to make a change in our eating as far as our lifestyle is concerned.
Yeah, that's really great. And then I wanna be careful that we are not we're promoting veganism or vegetarianism. And I do know that people need to eat according to their blood type. So probably the most important information people need to do is to get to know themselves. I know that growing up, I didn't particularly care for meats and that kind of thing. And I tell a story about the Aunt Hattie shaking that chicken and breaking its neck. Like, "Yeah, I'm not eating that. I'm done. However, there's certain body types and blood types that do require meat, but not at the rate that people are eating it now. And just like yourselves, I changed my meat, my food intake because I saw people dying. And I mean, or being obese. And I'm thinking, it gotta be the food, because we were eating bacon for breakfast, sausage for breakfast, come on. Vienna sausage, spam. Y'all ever had spam?
I've
I've
tasted
never
that.
had it. I couldn't pull myself to eat that. I've never tried that.
Man, you go back and you think, I lived eating that? Did I some.
I've never eaten it like full, but I did taste it.
Yeah, because you're wondering. But see, and I was talking to someone recently, and she reminded me that those type of canned goods, those meats were made for the military.
Wow.
because they had to be able to have food in the field that they didn't have to cook, that was readily available, and they could just pop the lid on it. So that makes sense. We weren't intended to have it to consume on a daily basis at home,
Right.
you know. So now when we're talking about nutrition is weaponized, what is your biggest concern? What is your biggest concern when not just yourself now, but
Mm.
we're talking about the community, the children, the future? Okay, what is your biggest concern about nutrition being weaponized?
The food desert, as Tanner said earlier, the food desert and not having available foods, ready foods, and even like I grew up in Harvey. The soil was tested by the Illinois, one of the colleges in Illinois, and they said the soil was like the best soil ever. So it could be a lot of gardens. My grandmother had 3 gardens in Harvey when I was growing up. There's no more gardens. So I feel like the food is not readily available. The foods that we need to put in our system, and a lot of them is processed, fast food. So I just feel so um, I don't want to say, I just feel that the need is really prevalent for areas like that to have good food readily available for them to get easier than going 30 minutes away to get good veggies. But all these is doing good with their veggies.
Except
So,
for they raised their price 50% in the last 2 weeks.
oh,
Absolutely, they have.
Huge, huge.
well, that's another thing. We're not, well, if they have
Yeah.
help getting food.
Yeah. All right, Tanner. So, what is your biggest concern?
So my biggest concern is making sure our listening audience, especially like our young adults and our children, understand the importance of living a healthy lifestyle and understanding that what they eat and what they will have a major effect on their physical, mental, as well as spiritual well-being. I think that's the gist of it that a lot of people kind of don't wrap their minds and their thoughts around. What you eat totally, if I could say, depicts what you're going to eventually become.
Yes, and it's so interesting that you can see children on their way to school with Cheetos, hot, whatever they call those,
Flaming hots.
flaming hots, and blue juice
Yes.
in the morning. Okay, so it seems like there needs to be, and maybe this is something that we need to create, some kind of educational campaign for for people to understand the importance of nutrition. It's not just to fill your belly, but you
Because
have
it's
to go ahead, Tanner.
No, I was going to say because it starts at the household and it starts more importantly with the parents because you're responsible for purchasing the food that your kids eat and, pushing and promoting nutrition. So if all you're buying is chips and candy and, fruit juices and, all types of processed foods, that's what your children are going to get used to. That's what they're going to think they're supposed to eat. And that's going to those habits are going to eventually transition them into adulthood, and eventually they're going to end up becoming obese, or they're going to have high blood pressure or have some type of health issues or complications as adults. So it starts early on in the home with the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna add something too. I was a classroom teacher, so I had students that literally wouldn't eat the school lunch because even our schools aren't providing great food for our kids. So I was constantly bringing peanut butter and jelly, and 2 of my boys, they actually were getting avocado toast out of me like every other day.
Mm-hmm.
You're a good teacher.
I have
Gotta
to
take care of the baby some kind of way.
Yes, I have to take care of my honeys. And with me not being in the classroom, I am thinking of that's really great that you're saying some type of program. I am thinking about doing some type of program where I still can connect with those kids in the areas where I know that they're not getting great food, doing breakfast and lunch. So
Well, if you want to know, and I'm gonna plug because I love Emerald.
oh
Emerald,
yeah.
she's a world class poet, but she also does a ministry called the Sandwich Ministry. And
Wow.
anytime I have some extra ducks, I send her money because she literally does feed the children. So that's somebody you can ask, if, how can you get started over there where you are? And I believe she gives them peanut butter and jelly and turkey sandwiches and chips and juice and something probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, So, but she gets it all through donations.
That's awesome. Thank you for the information.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I just thought of when you were talking, you remember when we were taught that the pyramid,
Oh,
the food pyramid
The
had
food
all of,
pyramid,
right. You remember that? And
all the good
actually,
stuff.
food
we need
pyramid.
to invert it because you need more fruits and vegetables.
Those. Yeah.
Okay, they have it's like you don't need all those that much serving of meat every day because fruits and vegetables do have protein.
Yes. That's what people always say when they find out I'm vegan. Well, how do you get your protein? From beans and vegetables? See, fruit.
Yes.
Yeah, I said they have high content of protein. I eat avocado basically every day. That's the best fat.
And that's a food that's a good fat, as I would say,
Good
Yeah,
fat.
and
That's
high
right.
in protein.
And it's filling. I mean,
Yeah.
it,
you eat some avocado toast, you can probably go at least 6 8 hours before you.
yeah.
So I remember, when I was a young mother and looking to see how to clean up my diet for my family, there were certain things that I got rid of. What are some of the ingredients you began to get rid of for your family to make sure that they were, at least eating as healthy as they could? Some of the ingredients that you were looking at.
Definitely high fructose corn syrup. Corn
High
syrup.
fructose corn syrup.
Oh my goodness. Anything that says fructose, I'm like, don't get it. Um, so that was one of the definitely something. And I'm sorry, milk actually as in dairy, that had to go, especially for my child, because I found out that fibroid tumors are very heavily associated with dairy in Black women.
Yeah.
And so um, I definitely took her off of that quickly. So those are two things that I definitely look for in food.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Tanner? Did you have to remove
For
anything?
me, of course, I would have to side with that. It was the food content that was high fructose corn syrup,
Mhm.
as well as your chips and your fruit juices that were high and even added sugars. So that's also something that people need to pay huge attention to when they're looking at labels. All of the added sugar and the sugar content, because of course that's contributing to the high levels of diabetes that we're experiencing in our communities. In addition, cookies, candy. We don't typically buy any of that in our household. Of course, we have my son, the younger one, of course, he enjoys chips and things of that nature from time to time, but it's portioned out and it's rationalized. So what I've done, instead of keeping it in the house, I'll stock up on some of the stuff and I keep it in the garage. And when he asks for stuff, he got to ask me for my key to go and get it, so I can control what his intake is. So
Mm.
it's little things like that and little changes that you can make to try to help push and promote a healthier lifestyle in the household.
And that is so important for us to pay attention to what our children are eating. It's not enough, and I love that both of you said that you don't bring it in the house. That was my thing. Now, if we want to have it on special occasion, if we want to have dessert when we're out eating dinner, we'll have dessert. But we're not bringing cake home and cookies. We're not, and most of that is so that I won't have it, 'cause you know how it is.
Exactly.
You
It's more
bring some
geared
chips
towards us.
home, right? You bring some chips home. You go and I'm just gonna eat a couple. You look up, the whole bag gone. Because that's so easy to do. So the best thing is to what? Not bring it in. And what you said, Mecca, about dairy, you know, they really ran a number on us about dairy. Okay? Do you know that cheese is the hardest thing on the kidney? And what do we love most? Cheese
Mm.
pizza
Or cheeseburger.
or cheeseburger or nacho cheese or you know, in the fact that we think it's okay to eat this every single day, you know,
Yeah.
like I gotta have cheese every day. No, you don't.
You know, I've never been a big cheese. I did not like cheese either. I was not
Mhm.
a person. Now I did eat pizza, but my mom only gave us it was like a treat when she got paid. So
Yeah,
we had pizza on Friday night.
yeah.
So it's something we had home cooked. We lived with our grandparents up till I was like 8 or 9. So my grandmother was from the South, so she cooked every day. They actually set the table.
Every
So
day. This eating out, how these kids eat out every day and they got a choice of what restaurant they're going to. Like I didn't have that growing up. I don't even give my kids that option. My wife and I do a lot of home cooked meals as well, but you just brought back memories of that. I don't Eating out was a treat on the
yeah.
weekends, like a Friday or a Saturday. It wasn't an everyday type thing.
Yeah. Well, I sometimes I did, you know, I've been guilty of that being in school, you know, and things like that. Like, okay, we're gonna grab something, you know. And then truthfully, and I want to say this, I do understand what parents are because I have been, you know, on public assistance and stuff like that. And when I couldn't get public assistance, because you know how you in that middle, they like, oh, you make too much, but you still, you know,
Yeah.
transition. I was taking my boys to Pepe's because on Mondays and Wednesday, tacos were $1. And
Oh
so
wow.
yeah, so I was like, hey, they need to eat, you know, so I don't, you know, I don't have as much. So I'm just gonna let them eat that on Mondays and Wednesday. So we understand that you get, you know, in those situations, but I feel like this, if you do have a link card, you should the reason why you spend up the money so quick is because you're buying junk food. I bought food that I could cook every day or every other day. I was never an everyday cooker. So I'll say every other day. But I feel like when you have those, you just have to buy the healthier choices and fresh food. Like people get upset with me when they say, oh, Mecca, here, you can have this. This is what, no, sweetheart, I do not eat canned vegetables. I don't even eat frozen vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um, I just think we have to do it a healthier way. Canned vegetables, look at the sodium in canned vegetables. It's very, very, very high.
Absolutely.
And you know
Absolutely.
that I really I want people to hear that it's not our intention to sound elitist or
Mm.
to be judgmental. However, we are concerned that we are raising children that are not connecting the nature of food with their longevity and their health. Not to mention that if they're eating, if they have a bad diet, their brains are not developing properly. Okay, so you have all of these concerns that they have to live with because of the poor choices that we've made as parents. So we have to take responsibility for that. And then the other thing that I would add as a young mother, and I still do this today, I meal prep. So Monday is my day off, and what I will do is I will prep meals for the whole week. That means if I can make brown rice and just have a big bowl of brown rice. You know, I can make some beans. I can make some veggie patties. I know how to make my own vegetarian hot dogs, you know, and you can make some things and put them in the refrigerator so that all you'd have to do is steam your vegetables and put it over the rice and, you know, heat the, you know, get you an air fryer. You can throw up things in the air fryer. But I'm with you. Eat at home. And tomorrow night, is it tomorrow night? We'll be talking about family time, the power of family time, because that is when you get to have family time. When you're sharing a meal with your children. Am I right, you guys?
But we
Absolutely.
as a community, I don't want to say as a community, I shouldn't have said that. A lot of people have moved from eating together. or they have their plates and they're watching TV in the living room. Some people, it was one point I can say that I experienced it, and that's why maybe I said that to let people know I've been on public assistance, things like that. We're not saying that, like how you said, moved about the elite, but I found myself not eating at the table. And I remember my boys told me one time, Ma, we haven't ate at the table since Maya left and went to college.
Wow.
And yeah. So they was like, we don't even do that. You just let us, eat whatever. And that was like a wake-up call to me, because it's like, okay, I'm not giving them the same experiences that I gave her.
That's wonderful.
And it's interesting that you brought that up, because in my house it's not an option and it's not negotiable. Like when we eat, we're going to eat at the table. Everyone's going to come down. Everyone is going to engage, and we're going to talk about our day, and we're going to see what's going on with everyone's going to see what's going on with everyone. So, like you said, a lot of families have kind of sort of transitioned away from that, but it's our job as coaches and strategists to help pull people back into the fold and get to the place where we start back promoting family and the importance of family.
That is right. And because we're spending a whole week talking about let's save our families. And one of the first things that we have to do is we have to turn around how we use nutrition. Now, I know earlier, Mecca, you were going into some of the things that you do, to do that. But what would you recommend people do so they can find out more about, making better nutritional choices for their families?
The first thing I would suggest is they should watch the documentary, What the Health. It's a couple of documentaries out there that will really show you that the federal government knows this food is not good for us. They already know that. It's documented. Also, I got a Herbal Innovations for Holistic Health. I got this from the store, A Practical Guide to Growing, Cooking, and Crafting Healthier Foods. Mm-hmm. And basically it's an almanac. And so it does tell you about the freshness of the food, different things like that. It shows you how to plant gardens in your home, gardens outside. So it's definitely ways that it actually has a gardening log. It has a month. So it's ways that you can find out about these things. I know it's not promoted, even as, like you were saying, at schools and things like that, because they tell us, oh, you need this and for your fats and I feel like if the FDA is telling you to drink dairy, I feel like you shouldn't listen to them. I'm sorry.
I know that's right.
Just gonna be blunt about it. Don't listen to them.
She started off with that. They are not our friend. Right.
Yep. Do not trust and people always say that, oh, the FDA. The FDA gave out cigarettes. When cigarettes first came out, the FDA knew they tested the cigarettes on mentally ill patients.
Wow.
The nursing homes and to the facilities for people with mental illnesses. So you can't trust somebody that does things like that.
Because that's right. We have all kind of instances where they did things like that.
Every medicine is a plant to match it.
Yes.
So
actually, that's where they got it from. But here's the other part of that is that any illness that you have, the universe has already provided a plant to heal you.
Yes.
Somewhere on this planet.
Yes.
And we were talking earlier about the download. When you meditate, when you pray, when you ask for healing, and you trust that, because most people are not trusting God, they're trusting, the doctors who are literally living off of your sickness. This whole institution of Western medicine, it used to be a Chinese practice that you paid your doctor a stipend as long as you stayed healthy. When you got sick, you didn't pay the doctor. He's not doing his job if you got sick, because we have to be preventative.
Wow. Mo, you know what I was thinking about? Okay, so you know how so people that's on medication,
Mhm.
the insurance companies pay for a part of that medication, thousands of dollars, but
Girl.
they don't give me a voucher to go buy me some food. I'm healthy. I don't go to the doctor at
Or
all.
vitamins.
Yes, you should.
Okay.
Yes, I should be able to turn in my receipts or something for my food that I purchased, and also for my vitamins, because I'm not in your pockets.
I'm not in your pockets.
The
And I
insurance,
don't intend to be in your pocket either.
right?
What were you gonna say, Tanner?
I was gonna say we need to get her on somebody's board to get out to DC
To
and
make some
start
changes.
lobbying.
That's right.
No, I was gonna say, for me, I think it's just so important to do your own research and to,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to ask questions. If this healthcare stuff is something new to you and something that you just don't understand, seek out assistance. We live in a cyber world today where there's someone out there with some type of expertise for any question that you have. So don't be afraid to ask and to, seek out assistance from nutritionists and health and fitness experts just to become more versed on, foods and, what you're consuming and which ones to avoid. I know we're in a commercial driven world where, a lot of people are after the dollar and they want to charge you for everything. But you have some people like us. This is information that I would give out freely. This is information that I would give out while I'm asleep to help make our people more healthy, and to keep us around, because we need to be around in order to fulfill our purposes and to do what we've been placed here to do.
That's exactly right. We're here for a purpose, but our first purpose is to learn how to take care of ourselves. And then the only thing I would add to what you were saying is that YouTube University is the real deal. Let me tell you, I get plenty of recipes from there. Bananas, I love me some bananas, but sometimes, I do too much. I be gone and I come back and be like, oh, my banana's about to die here, but I like them to get, kind of brown. You can take a couple of bananas, put them in a bowl, and you can mash them up, put a scoop of peanut butter in there, and put a handful of, what do you call it, trail mix, stir that up, and then just plop it down by the spoon and make you some cookies. And if you like them sweet, you can add some honey or maple syrup. Okay? And then,
Okay, sugar,
huh?
and sugar.
You can probably do sugar, but my sweeteners are usually maple syrup and
If you
honey.
do sugar, yeah,
Little
and
bit.
I would do brown sugar versus
Yeah.
white sugar,
Or
just a sprinkle.
Tabano, raw sugar. Yeah, I wouldn't do
Yeah,
white sugar. Yeah.
raw sugar. Definitely don't. And I shouldn't have said the word sugar, because we don't want to use white sugar.
We don't want to promote sugar.
We don't want to put no sugar, right? You can use Tabano, raw sugar, but I usually use maple syrup or honey. But anyway, you can do that, and then for people that eat eggs, you can take those same two bananas, put it in a bowl, throw an egg in there, and make you some pancakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You make you a couple of pancakes. You don't have to put flour, nothing else, just two bananas and an egg. And you got about 3 pancakes, pour you some maple syrup on it. But I want you all to know that there are plenty of recipes. You got another recipe? What were you going to say, Tanner?
No, I was gonna say, and even as far as snacks for the kids, go back to the basics. Buy those celery stalks, cut up that celery stalk, put them some peanut butter on there. That's a
Oh,
snack.
man, you better say that. And
Yes,
I used to add the little raisins
And
on there and tell my kids, this is
they
an
call
ant
them
log. This is
ant
an
log.
ant log.
When I taught preschool, we always did that, and they loved it.
And they loved it.
and I do the same with the baby carrots as well. But
Oh,
I prefer to consume my carrots raw. But if it's a taste you don't like, you can always top it off with peanut butter versus a ranch or something like that.
There you
There's
go.
plenty of healthy options and alternatives that we can choose versus chips, cookies, and the sodas and all of that stuff.
oh yeah, we didn't even discuss soda. That's something that we definitely need to take
But
out.
let's go, because this next question is, what are some of the healthier ways that you can do on a daily basis to help people maintain themselves? So go ahead and start with that.
Well, definitely take out the soda and instead of replace that with you can fresh squeeze juice, get you a blender or something like that, cut those cut the fruit up, blend it, and make juices like that. I don't know. I don't eat. I just it's sometimes it's like I forget because it just comes to me naturally. But and I was trying to think of more snacks other than the bananas or peanuts.
Well, of course, there's
Mhm.
popcorn, and
Oh yeah,
you can add nutritional yeast, and you can order nutritional yeast from
yeah, nuts.
Amazon or
Yep.
Amazon, or you know, you go to Whole Foods, but just a little tablespoon of nutritional yeast in there, you be like addicted to the popcorn. You already know when you all come to my house, you're like, can you make some of that popcorn?
Yeah, I got the nutritional yeast from nuts.com that you suggested.
Yeah, either one. So everybody don't have, you know, yeah, but
Oh,
nuts.com is good and
oh yes, granola. Granola,
granola. Yeah.
granola is so great. Granola is so great. My grandson, he eats yogurt, but he has to have granola with it.
Well,
He,
yeah. And so when you talk about those dairy choices, you can go to oat milk,
oh yeah,
almond milk.
yep.
You know, but the only
Um,
brand that I would not choose is Silk because Silk is a genetically modified company. You know,
Mm,
so you know, but the other ones are a little bit better. But still, your oat milk, you know, I love oat milk, coconut, and then almond. That's how my choice is. If I can get
my,
oat milk.
what about? Have you tried the rice?
Yeah, I used to use rice years ago before we that was the it used to be that was the only choice we had was
Okay,
rice.
all right. Oh, have you tried banana milk?
I haven't had banana milk.
Yeah, all these have the banana milk.
Now I have to look at those ingredients because how did
Yeah,
they make it?
you know
Because you
what?
know,
I used it for a dish that I was making.
yeah, because I was gonna say I made banana milk from my bananas, but I've smashed the bananas, put the milk in, and blended it up like you would use it for a smoothie, right? But I don't know because if they're using it as a milk, I would have to look at those ingredients.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
thing that we should always do, you should, because some people in their mind they say, oh well, it says healthy or diet, oh, and stay away from those diet drinks. Those are not good for you. Is that spironella is some the whatever the I looked it up, the alternative for the sugar that they're putting in it, it is worse on your body than regular sugar. It was like um
Actually, they found out that people that eat diet anything gain more weight. So you guys should leave the diet stuff alone because they are using a substance that makes you crave.
yes.
Okay, so just stop it. You know, really get smart about this. Really get to the point where you are clear that you need to study food for yourself.
Some people, oh, you said that earlier, Moot. People are stuck with my granddaddy ate. He
It's
eat.
not the same food that your granddaddy ate.
That's what people
not
say all
absolutely
the
not.
time. My granddaddy 90 some years old. Okay, but the food definitely changed, and that doesn't mean that you're gonna make it.
And if you're an adult still drinking soda every day and smoking cigarettes, I'm going to say this shame on you. And especially if you're smoking in front of children, shame
Yeah,
on you.
yes.
Okay? That's really not acceptable. And it's certainly not acceptable if you smoke in a room where they are or in a car. I'm going to say that. And I still love you anyway. As Michael Jackson would say, in love, you know, I'm saying that in love, right? So now,
So
is it
you two,
necessary? Go ahead. Mhm.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say you two have thrown out, a lot of different suggestions. One thing I did not hear was increasing that water intake.
Come
Oh
on.
yeah.
Come
Most people
on.
tend to use that 8 ounces, 8 glasses of 8 ounces. But for me, my goal, I try to drink at least 150 ounces of water a day. I don't drink any pops. I don't drink pops, soda, depending on where you're listening from, um, as well as like those fruit juices are in it. I don't drink any of that. The only thing that I consume on a daily basis is water and healthy teas.
Yeah, I drink tea every morning, but Tanner, I would suggest, because people can drown from water, too much water in their body. So I would suggest, I think it's half of your weight in ounces. Mood, have you heard that?
I have heard that. And, actually, that's something to research per person as well,
Yeah.
because that water intake, it does include your coffee, your
Yeah.
tea, and any other. You see what I'm saying? So some people be like, oh, let me drink 8 glasses of water plus this
Yes.
liter of juice.
Right.
You see that? So yeah, but
And
you don't
also-
want to substitute. I'm with Tanner, and when we're talking water, we're talking clean water, alkaline water.
Yes.
And I do want to throw this in there
possible.
too. I do want to throw this in there for those who are, kind of just getting started on their journey and, don't want to just start giving a lot of this stuff up cold feet. Start if you're still drinking juice and you just can't give it up, can't let it go immediately. Mix it with water. Mix it with 3 or 4 parts water and only 1 part juice. And that's a start. And over time, just continue to decrease the amount of juice that you're drinking. And, you'll wake up one day and you're not even going to have a taste for it anymore.
Yeah, with the
That's
alkaline.
the suggestion.
Yeah, the alkaline water I like is very inexpensive. It's at Family Dollar and Big Lots. I think I got some today from a regular store too, in a community. Geyser, Geyser. I got over a gallon for $1.69. So you can alkaline your own water as well, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
by
have
putting a lemon
home
in it or a
filtration
lime in
systems.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they have home filtration systems too for those of you that
And
are
I say,
interested.
like Tammy was telling us, that Kangen water, that water filtration system, if you can get it at home, because they do have monthly payment plans, if you can get that Kangen water system, that is one of the better systems for you to have. And
What is it called?
Kangen, Kangen, Kangen
Okay.
water system. Yeah, that's the one that I started on. About 15 years ago, and it has alkaline water. Is so healthy for you that it helps your digestion. It helps keep you regular with your colon. It's good for getting impurities out of your system. But also people that my doctor, my mentor as well, he has helped people that had what's that disease that only Black people have, and they don't study it because it's only our disease. But
You're not talking about lupus, are you?
no, lupus
Well,
is.
I know Black women are more proportionally
Sickle
affected.
cell?
Yes, it's a nutrition, and it's from diet. They can easily. I've helped more than one person get straight with lupus just by changing their diet.
Was it sickle cell?
Sickle cell. So sickle cell can be treated with alkaline water. I mean, this is really, we have got to get clear about us being really targeted, on the nutrition, because we keep ourselves ignorant. It's too much information out here to think that somebody else is supposed to tell us how to eat and what to do. We have to be the ones, and then everybody in the family, everybody in the family is not going to do this. So you can actually dedicate one person to a topic and say, hey, let's study this. Let's change this for ourselves. And they study it and pass it along to the family. Okay?
Yeah, adding bitters too. Any like the black seed bitters, sour sop bitters, adding those, just take a shot. Even if you get pure aloe vera juice, the 90%, and that's at Walmart. If you take that and just do a shot a day, that will definitely change your body, your life, your physical. You feel different. You feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
No, you do. And one regimen that I have that I'll share as well. I drink. I put like a shot of apple cider vinegar in my water. I drink a warm glass of water, 8 ounces when I wake up in the morning, because I don't drink coffee or any of that. And like all of my coworkers, like everybody, all of my my team members, they wonder where I get my spark from. They're like, you don't drink coffee, you're just always so bright and full of energy in the morning. I'm like, no, I drink a glass, an 8-ounce glass of apple cider water and vinegar water in the morning, and I make me a fresh smoothie every morning, and that's my breakfast. That's how I get my day going.
Yeah. And
So,
I do it.
don't
That's right.
believe the hype that you have to have the
You
coffee and
don't
you
have to
have
have the
to have
coffee.
that, because you don't.
I have lemon water first thing in the morning
Yeah.
because it's a natural detox, and then, and I actually, after I've had a big weekend and I've been out hanging out and eating and drinking, I detox on Monday and Tuesday. I help my body to get rid of toxins. I don't keep putting bad stuff on top of bad stuff, and then by Friday I'm talking about I'm sick. People, we have to actually do body hacks. You have to do that. You have to support yourself, right?
Yeah.
So our producer is saying move on. So is it necessary for us to go back to a simpler lifestyle to save our families?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that we have to go back to the simpler lifestyle, even though I think it was much beautiful. And I feel like where we are now, all we have to do is uh, connect more. Families were already missing out on each other. But when COVID hit, baby, that broke up families, because we have people that was like, Mecca don't believe in masks. That girl not getting vaccinated. I don't want my kid at her house. Baby, listen, I took care of people with COVID and didn't get it. So because I trust my immune system,
Yes.
so I just feel like we could carry on from where we are, but we do have to incorporate in spending more time with each other, listening to each other, and like you said, discussing about this food.
Mm-hmm.
Discussing it. My uncle had high blood pressure. I went to him. I said, Uncle Mark, all you have to do is change your diet. And he listened, and he's much better. You can't continue to eat all this ribs and all that. You can't eat that all day, every day, and think that you are just going to be fine. To me, I feel like when you sitting up and you just eating ribs and stuff, I just feel like it's just salt just filling up your head. Because
Oh
that's
no, it's doing more than that, because again, our digestion, and that's why we have to really, when you get a clear understanding of how your system works, you're not gonna send it through that kind of, that's torture to do it all the time.
I call it physical trauma.
It's physical trauma
Yeah.
to do it all the time. I remember this was a few years ago, but I quit drinking soda well over 30, 40 years ago, right? And I remember I was helping a friend. She was moving her mother, so I was helping her clean out her apartment. And she went to Popeye's Chicken to buy everybody something to eat that was there. She called herself Bring Me Back the Dirty Rice and slaw or whatever. But then she brought a soda. She said, "Well, here's a soda since you can't eat it." And I said, "Okay." I took one swig of that soda, and I kept working. But that night when I got home, I was sick as a dog. I was so sick, and I, called my mentor. He was like, "Well, what did you eat?" I said, "I really didn't eat. I drank a soda." He said, "You drink a soda?" When I tell you, it took me at least 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm.
Now, here's what people don't realize is that if you look at the ingredients in soda, it's not just the high fructose corn syrup, but they have to put some type of preservative in there to keep it in the warehouses for the longevity of time that they do. It stays stored. And then you have the caramel coloring. They make that with insects and all of that. Those special tastes and so it's other things. It's not just your regular soda machine and seltzer bubbles. It's other things in there. So, you know, and he had to tell me, he said, well, the cleaner your system is, the faster you're going to be affected by something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you know what's so funny? I that is my way that I know I can taste some food and say, oh, it's butter in this, it's dairy in this. And people be looking at me like, girl, you just put a little bit in your mouth. I say, listen.
That's all. You can smell it now too. Yeah.
Clean and see.
And when you don't eat it, eat it and consume it on the regular, you can automatically point it out.
Yes. And then me, when I started eating at Majani, that's when I really began to understand what clean food is.
Mm-hmm.
And even eating at other vegan restaurants, I'm like, it started to turn me off. I'm like, they using frozen food. This person, I can literally taste the differences. I said, why the food don't taste like this? And you can see when you walk in their restaurant, they tell you what farmers they get their food from. So I'm like, and I saw one dude in Dixmoor Meat Market. You over here buying frozen food, giving it to me. That's why I don't eat in your place anymore. So I'm saying that to say, when you eat clean like that, I'm serious. As soon as it get by your tongue, or when you smell it, I was my grandmother's taste tester too. So I kind of, I'm not playing.
No, I know you're not playing.
Look,
I was the only
AKA the greedy one.
I was the only one that got to stay up with her.
Yeah.
Any holidays, I got to stay up with her, and she said, Mecca, you taste the food, baby. I got to taste the cake first, everything. So I can look at food and be like, don't eat that. Yeah. It ain't right.
That's right. So Tanner, what about you? Do you think we need to go back to a simpler lifestyle to save our families?
I do, because, a lot of people just aren't aware that the food that they're eating and the things that they're putting in their body is killing them day by day. And in my opinion, at some point, maintaining your family's health and wellness must become as important as, furthering your education or matriculating in a career, or start as much effort you put into those things, starting a business, growing in your career, you should put that into maintaining your health and wellness. And simple things can be done to help promote that. As you gave a suggestion earlier, meal prepping literally saves my life.
Yes.
It helps us to eat more healthy in our household, of course, avoiding the junk foods, and, only purchasing, fresh fruits and vegetables, and trying to avoid meat. It just goes a long way in maintaining your health in the present as well as into the future.
Yeah, you know what I like to do? I like to buy a bag of cherries, rinse them out, put them in a bowl, put them in the refrigerator, buy some grapes, rinse them, and open the refrigerator, and you just got a bowl of grapes and cherries, cut up watermelon, cut up cantaloupe. I mean, and then I just go in with a Q-tip, a toothpick, and just grab something just to have something to munch on. I mean, I used to do that with my children, and it was a snack. It was a fun thing to open the refrigerator and see all these colorful fruits, and vegetables, because they used to snack on broccoli. Remember when broccoli was a snack? You just cut it up and
I still eat it as a snack.
Yes.
I eat it raw as a snack.
We also eat the sweet peppers, the red, yellow, and orange.
Yeah.
So excited. My daughter, she was so excited, and my grandson, when we first gave them to her, she was like, because his father's very picky. So she's like, all I want him to do is like sweet peppers. And when he first tried them with us and he ate them, she was so excited. So he eats very healthy as well. So
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, because the idea is we just want to inspire families to literally take on their family's health through nutrition, and provide them some ideas. And one question was, can we find recipes? We can probably put recipes on the Ignite Your Soul Connection page, but not necessarily in this video. But we can put it on the page and direct some people, like we were talking about YouTube. Maybe we can throw some recipes in there. What are some of the things, you guys, that we can share with them, so to give them an idea of where to get started?
I want to say, make sure you're eating seeded fruits. Because when you said about watermelon, it's been driving me nuts that all the stores are selling seedless watermelon, and I refuse to eat that.
I don't eat
But
seedless, right? And last year, I think you and somebody else bought me seeded watermelon. I think I had seeded watermelon 3 times last year.
yeah,
I was
I did. I
so
said I'm taking nobody
yes.
else to seed it, and
Mm.
and I was glad I found that watermelon on 71st Street.
Right.
Remember?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I sure do.
But I get my recipes online. I just Google it when I have a taste for something. That's how I got started. I would just Google different things and that's how I got my recipes. But they do have, I got a book. They do have actual recipe books that you could use.
Yes, and you can use them with your library card at the library, so you don't
Oh,
even have
yep.
to go and buy the book. They have recipe books at the library.
Yep.
This is a African
Yeah,
book,
and that's the same.
Aquiline Herbal Medicine book, but it's different recipes in here too.
Okay. What were
Yeah,
you gonna
so
say,
for me
Tanner?
too, no, I was gonna say Google and YouTube is my best friend. Wealth of knowledge is free. You don't have to pay for it. I also have several chefs that I follow, vegetarian chefs, in which a couple of them have their own books. So I can share some resources after the video with some of you who may be interested as well. But you
Yeah.
can definitely start with Google and YouTube. There's a wealth of information there.
Yeah, and I think I'll also see if I can download. I did write a cookbook. Uh,
Yay!
I did, and I think my popcorn recipe is in there, and my salad because that I love salad. Salad is one of my regular go tos as well, and Brussels sprouts. Oh my goodness, I love some Brussels sprouts. So some of those recipes are in there, and I will post that to the Ignite Your Soul Connection page because really. I think Mecca, you said this earlier on one of your Facebook posts that cooking for other people will always be a way of showing love and sharing love, and that's true for me too. If you walking in my door, if you're not bringing me food, then I'm gonna cook you some.
Yeah.
That is a way of showing love.
I want to say green leafy salad, please.
Yes.
The what? Iceberg is not salad, family.
At all.
Water. It's water. Iceberg is water.
About
You want romaine, buttery. Yes.
It's
Even
water.
dandelion root is good.
Woo! But if you do the spring mix, something, if you want to just get started, get a spring mix. And they always say, it's funny, my family like, Mecca, here, eat this purple one. No, baby, you need to eat that. So the purple leaves, they even have purple cabbage, but you eat the purple and the leafy green vegetables. That is where the nutrition is. Salad, I'm telling you, I don't want to eat I don't want to see any white. I don't even want romaine in my salad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, romaine, I love romaine. I love buttery. I put cabbage in there. I put a number of different things in that, in that salad. And then, I also make walnuts and raisins.
Yes.
Snack.
And toss those right into your salad as
And
top.
toss that right
That's
into the
it.
salad. Come on.
Tanner, I thought that's what she was talking about. I'm like, yes, in the salad.
But because it's sometimes my vegan son comes over, and he eats much more than I do because I usually just eat one meal a day. So I make sure that I have those kind of healthy, snacks, walnuts and raisins, pistachios, fruits and stuff like that. Because I know that when he's sitting there doing his work, he's looking to grab something, because even as vegans and vegetarians, while you're still in your busy mode, you still need to eat small meals. Now as for me, I'm not as busy as you guys, so I don't have to do that so much anymore. Right.
You mentioned earlier, Tanner too mentioned earlier about what he eats in the morning. We're not even supposed to eat all that heavy food before 12 o'clock.
Nope.
We're not supposed to eat all that heavy food. And see, I do like potatoes because it does, give me a little bit, it makes me fuller. I'll say that it's heavier,
Mhm.
but you don't have to eat that early in the morning, 6 and 7. I can't eat breakfast at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, eight
Yeah, I
o'clock.
usually don't eat anything in the morning.
Can't eat
My
that.
first meal is usually after lunch. I usually do. They call it intermittent fasting now,
Yeah,
but usually that I didn't
Yeah.
do. You know, I don't eat after the sun go down, and then I drink my liquids in the morning. Then I'll eat a meal about 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm good for the rest of the day. Now in the evening, if I want to have some pistachios and wine, some popcorn and wine, I might do that, or even some fruit. But I'm not eating a heavy meal when I'm getting ready for bed.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Moo. I'm probably one meal I eat a day. Other than that, it's healthy snacking, lots of fluid intake. And I found that the older I've got, I like to say my stomach has shrank. I'm
Yeah,
not as hungry as I used to be, or, wanting to. And then a lot of those unhealthy foods, mentally, your body, it sort of goes through a metamorphosis where mentally it makes you think you need that. And eating a lot of that stuff just weighs you down and it throws off your mental and everything. But
yeah,
I'm with you. The one big meal a day, and of course, try not to eat any large meals after 8 p.m. or so.
yeah,
now I'm working on that, you guys, because I do see another thing. I run myself around, and I keep my grandson on Tuesdays and Thursday, and I, give him a bath and talk to him to 8 o'clock, and then I'm like, girl, you didn't eat anything, and then sometimes I'll go home and eat. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
something I want to
yeah.
work.
Yeah, well, the circadian rhythm is very important for our health. So, you have to because as you get older, and this is especially true when we keep putting people in before our self care, that
Yeah,
pattern is going to wear
yeah,
out and wear
yeah,
you out.
yeah.
So then, so now let me ask you, can you see yourself as a farmer or a rancher in the future? Can you see yourself doing something like that?
I'm really transitioning over to not farming, but at least gardening. So I have started in my home, but I do want. I think my break, and that's something that I have to deal with. But I really do think my break with gardening is my grandmother passed in '99, and when she passed, I was so furious. Like, y'all just let her. My uncles kept one of my uncles. He kept one garden up for a very long time,
Mm.
but it's like that it sends me there. So that's just something that I need to work on. But I don't think I could be a farmer. That's not because I'm not big on labor. But
Well,
I,
you can always hire somebody.
oh, now okay, now that's true. Now
You wouldn't have to do it.
I,
You would just own it. Yeah.
They just say our
own it.
ancestors did enough of that,
Yeah,
huh?
I can own it, but I can't do the labor part of it.
What about you, Tanner?
No, I do a little gardening myself, as far as growing fruits and vegetables in the spring and the summertime. But I would like to learn more about, farming and
Mm.
potentially maybe becoming a rancher. I don't have a lot of, I guess I would say, resources and in individuals that are around me that are into that, but it's definitely something that I'm open to learning. I'm always look up for a new challenge.
Yeah, I like that idea too. And I love the idea of having a place where we can bring young children to and expose them to that type of lifestyle. Because growing up, we had a lady, Miss Marshall, every spring break and every summer, she would take us to Momence, Illinois, to her little place, and she plant stuff and show us how to plant stuff, show us how to get the eggs from the chicken. And then my grandmother would take us to Mississippi, and I remember being able to eat the peaches, sit up in the tree,
Yeah,
just eat peach at the peach, and throw the little seeds on the ground,
Yeah.
or the pecans out of the tree, and learned how to crack them in your hand. I think children need to just have that kind of experience along with their education. That's part of the education I feel is missing because they don't have an appreciation for Mother Earth.
true. We
And
had
it's interesting that you speak about that because in my house that I stay in now, and I consider me and my family to be really blessed because of this. I actually have a pear tree in my front yard and a string bean tree in my backyard.
Wow.
So it doesn't get more organic than that.
Come on. I'm
So no
telling
pesticides are sprayed on those trees or anything, and it's some of the best pears and string beans that you can ever eat.
you. Okay, well now you told me, you know what I'm expecting.
Tanner, I'm coming over since I've never.
You tell your wife, Moot said, and you know, and I don't need a whole lot because it's just me. So you don't.
So too, Tanner, when I was growing up, we had a cherry tree, and this is in Harvey, Illinois. We had
Mhm.
we had a cherry tree in our yard. We had a pear tree, and we had an apple tree in the yard. So that's why I really believe I love fruit and vegetables because I went right there to the earth and was able to pick them up with my granny. I did used to pick with her, but I and just go when she planted. But yeah, that it was a beautiful thing. The tree was there for a very long time.
Yeah, and I think that that's important for us to be able to give those simpler and more natural things to our children instead of having them sit around with phones and devices all day. You know, I'm not opposed to it, but there's an imbalance. There's a complete
Yeah.
imbalance. And we have to do something. We can't just punish them. We have to put something in a place that's going to bring them joy. And sometimes being outside with them, picking, things from can you imagine picking cherries from a tree and then spraying them and eating them? You know what I'm saying? That's fun.
That was I'm serious. We used to pick some cherries and didn't even wash them off. We would eat it. Right?
No, just we used to
Exactly,
do
right
the
off the tree.
mulberries.
It wasn't as much pollution and things like that
It
either because
wasn't.
I'm
That's right.
46.
It wasn't.
So it wasn't, a lot of cars around, just polluting the air and things like that. So it was just we would just go over to the tree and get it back. It
Yeah,
was delicious. It was like a bush.
yeah, I know, right? So, man, I know. And that, look, we're already getting close to the closing time. So I know that we shared some resources for people to go deeper into this topic, and we will place those when we get done. We can place those in the Ignite Your Soul connection on our page. So if you guys think of anything else, you can either place them there yourself or send them to myself or our producer, and we'll make sure they get there. But right now, what services are you offering that people can engage with you, find you, give us some idea of what's going on so they can participate in what you're doing right now, and then what's your final statement as we come to an end of this second day of Ignite Your Soul Connection?
Well, you always can find me. I'm Mother Mecca. You can always find me on Facebook. I'm using the Mecca page on Facebook, and you can email me at mothermecca115@gmail.com. You can call me or text me 708-253-8795. And I sit with you, and like Moose said, I really look at your blood type, your charts, things like that, what's going on in the universe at the time to figure out what we should be eating and what we should be doing. Not just saying, hey, don't eat this or don't eat that. Because one thing about me, I never complain about what somebody else put in their body. I just know I'm vegan and I'm not eating it.
Yeah,
and I would like to say, make sure that you just work on it. Remove one thing at a time. I went cold turkey, but just remove one thing at a time. And I really believe that you should cleanse first, because when you cleanse, it helps you with your mental state and it helps you transform better. And I love you like no other.
there you go. What about you, Tanner?
So as discussed earlier, I like to consider myself a lifestyle strategist and empowerment coach. As stated, I do focus on health and wellness, financing, imaging and branding, as well as spirituality and relationships. I can be reached on Facebook at Tanner Times. That's TANNER TIMES. And I can also be reached on Instagram at underscore creative soul work. That's one word. The @ symbol underscore creative soul work. And I would like to leave you guys with the following statement that health is wealth and health is life. Move with me. So Move with Me is a new lifestyle and fitness brand that my wife and I are developing. We're looking to try to launch toward the end of the year to promote health and wellness and to empower people to live a more healthy, balanced lifestyle. So you guys be on the lookout for that. And I want to thank you all in advance for your participation in tonight's podcast and for your support with some of our future endeavors.
Yes. And thank you guys for your time. The fact that we've been doing this for as long as we have, and it's only because of the generosity of Master Force coaches that we can do it twice a year. And you guys are always eager to participate. You always prepare. So thank you so much for just being available. I appreciate you making this easy for me to even continue to say, let's get together and talk,
Yeah.
So I love you for that. And for everyone else, be sure to join us tomorrow at a special time. Tomorrow we will run live at 5:30 on Facebook because our special guest, Robert Nixon, is a family man that works nights.
Okay.
So he's asked us to change the time because he's going to be talking with us about the power of family time. And here's a man that knows that because he has 4 sons, okay? And yes, he has 4 sons. He and his wife are doing fabulous. And so join us tomorrow night to find out, how to use your time with family. And, keep visiting our page because we're going to keep adding information. All right. So until then, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.